On today's video, I'll be painting some muscles. For color selection, I'll begin with a mix of cavalry brown and cork brown. I'll then be mixing sunny skin tone for highlights and a bit of pale sand to top it off. I mixed two base coats and I'll begin with a single coat of the darker one first, which should allow me to have complete coverage with the second one. As I apply those initial layers, I'd like to let everyone know that the rest of the month will be focused on the old world content. It is a release I've been waiting for a long time since I began my journey into the hobby with Warhammer Fantasy. So if you manage to get one of those army boxes, you can expect some speed painting videos to get your armies ready as fast as possible. And for the 40k fans, you'll just have to wait your turn. I do have plans to work on some Dark Angels and Night Lords with their due release. Still, there will always be general tips on miniature painting on all of my videos, which will apply to any system. Now back to today's topic. I'll add more cork brown to the initial mix tone to begin marking out those volumes. While the initial base tone will work as our deepest shadows and we want to have it visible, that doesn't mean every separation between each muscle should be left untouched. For now, I'll focus the first coat on each of the muscles, but for the second one I'll stop and think if something is a deep shadow or not. Like for example, the abdomen is much more exposed than the armpit, so it wouldn't make sense to have the same level of darkness between them. Our goal should be to end up with an untouched base coat over the armpit or any deep shadows, a single coat of this lighter mix over the normal shadows, and two coats of this lighter mix over the muscle volumes. This is just a guide so you can better imagine what I'm trying to achieve without having to show you the complete process. There is still a step to smooth out our transitions to be done, plus more highlights to increase the contrast. Once achieving something like this, I'll begin to incorporate sunny skin tone to the mix. This time, however, I'll be a bit more strategic with the placement of my highlights. Not only will I be working in a smaller area, but also working according to the position of the volume. On the abdomen, for example, I'll get right against the shadow on top, but still leave some of the previous color next to the bottom shadow, essentially highlighting the top half getting right against the shadow. While on the shoulders, I'm just making the highlight smaller and leaving the previous color visible all around. If at any point you feel lost, moving the model back and forth under a lamp will help out. Adding more sunny skin tone yet still not reaching the pure tone, I'll continue doing the same as before, but just working in a smaller area. When looking at it from up close, the paint job might look a bit rough, so it is important to take a step back and actually look at your model from a realistic tabletop view. Yet I did say I was gonna smooth it up a bit, and for that I'll mix an intermediate tone on my wet palette, and add a bunch of water to it. What I'm doing right now, it is not a wash but a glaze. I don't want more paint depositing on the recesses, but the same amount all around, which will tune down the highlights and brighten up my shadows. This will bring all the colors close together. Just make sure that your brush is not loaded with too much paint and that you move the paint around to distribute evenly. A single coat should be enough. From there, it is just a matter to go back to that last highlight color, and once you go all around, just add a pinch of pale sand to the mix to create those extreme highlights, which will just consist of little dots and lines at this point. With the final highlight applied, I was left with this. Any deep wounds were painted using pure cavalry brown, and after painting the rest of the model, here is the end result. As always, I hope you found the video useful, and I welcome any suggestions of topics you'd like for me to cover.